Hello, boys and girls, and I'm back. 2018 Porsche Macan. This is not the Sport Edition. This is not the Turbo or the S. This is considered the base model. I wanted to show you this, guys, because as you guys know, I've been cross-shopping the vehicle, and I have this car now as a tester. However, I brought it in, and the wife did not like the vehicle just because some of the amenities it's missing, and the car she felt is just riding too low. And I get it, when you're coming from an SUV, like I mentioned before, the Durango RT, the car that we currently have sits a little bit higher and rides more like an SUV. This is a fantastic car for he who's trying to get upgraded from, say, a car. It will sit a little bit higher than a car, but it still feels like a car, not like an SUV. So I want to do a quick review on this car, and just to show you guys some of the benefits that the car brings, and some of the things that I think kind of hold it back from selling. Thing to note about this car is if you're in Houston, you can go pick it up. I'll be returning it later today. Again, the wife didn't like it, at BMW West Houston off of Katy. You guys are more than welcome to stop by. This car, MSRP, again, is a 2018, is about 64, 65,000. I think I have the Maroni inside the vehicle. And they're asking actually 53. It has about 5,000 miles. So they're asking about almost an $11,000, $12,000 discount. It's a 2018. The car has never been titled. So it's virtually a brand new car. You would still get the full 4-year, 50,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty. I think one of the reasons the car has sat so long is I'm going to go into the details of the Maroni as to why this car has sat so long and why it hasn't sold, and what you can get for a comparable price. As you guys know, I'm test driving the BMW X5. If you're interested in that video, just look at my channel and it's in there. You just get so much more in the BMW X5 relative to this Porsche Macan. You get more space, you get more front and rear and cargo room, right? You get a lot more amenities. You get blind spot monitoring, forward collision warning, you get lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control. You just get so many features on the X5. I could see why BMW sells those things like the world's gonna end. This is something that you're not gonna get all those things I just mentioned. And it's more expensive than the X5. And again, I'm not dogging this car. I think it's a fantastic car. It's just, it's unique to the driver. And if you're into Porsche and the type of driving experience the car gives you, you're gonna be completely satisfied. I can tell you, I've never driven a Porsche. This is the first time. And now I understand why people say that automatic transmission on the Porsche that they come with is so fantastic. And I personally, as I mentioned earlier, I test drove it today, and it is probably the best transmission I've ever driven. It is fantastic. The way it shifts the gears, it's seamless, it's smooth, it gets up and go, so on and so forth. So real quick, again, this comes with the optional 21-inch wheels. They look fantastic. They're still on Pirellis. Again, no blind spot monitoring on this option. It does have a full panoramic sunroof. Let me pull up the Maroni, I guess, since I have you guys here, just so you guys can see how much this paint cost, which is kind of insane. Here's the Maroni. And the total sticker price, as I mentioned, is right here, $64,700, right? So again, relative to the X5, the BMW, you're just getting so much for the price. It's Porsche, right? It's the brand. But check out that custom color. $6,500 for that color, guys. And then you have these 21-inch wheels, which are, 5G. So basically $11,000 has increased the MSRP of this car. I believe that's the reason why the car's not selling. Because you can go to Porsche right now and buy a Porsche Macan for about $55,000, maybe $60,000. And it's gonna come with a lot more options that the X5 has. So again, to be fair, what's hurting this car is the paint and the wheels. I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's actually what's hurting the car, because if you didn't have those wheels and you had the standard 20-inch, which look great, right? and you didn't have this paint job, and maybe you had a standard paint job like egg white, which is $0 for that, or a blue or a black, again, no upcharge. All of a sudden you get those $10,000 that you're overpaying, I say, on wheels and paint, and you put it into the car, which then gives you, you know, the lane departure warning, the adaptive cruise control. So again, you can get it all. It's all about the mix of the money. And again, they decided to build this spec with these wheels and this paint, which look fantastic, but I just don't know if it's worth it when you remove all the additional amenities the car would come if it didn't have that. And again, the Porsche Macan still looks great. So it's missing a lot of the standard features that, again, the car would have. A good example would be here. I call this a spinal cord. You could see all these little empty spots here, right? All these empty spots. And if you look at the Porsches, they have one that you can press it here and it changes to different suspension. You press it here and opens the exhaust mode. So again, it's missing a lot of the things that you would normally see. Doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in this model. Again, things that you would get if you use your money wisely on the Porsche Macan. It is a beautiful car. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think it's a fantastic car. And notice that I'm calling it a car because that's kind of what it drives like. And she does drive great. And the fit and finish and the quality of the car is great. It does come with bows. Again, that's an option. The rear seat, I'm 6 feet tall. And if I go into the car, you know, putting the seat the way I would want it, you could see I have maybe 2-3 inches of room. Full panoramic. My head is kind of touching the ceiling, but again, I'm not the person that would be back here, would be our kids. It does have your dual climate control, excuse me. It does have a, what is it, cup holders for the rear passengers. And again, it is a smaller, tidy vehicle compared to the X5. The X5 is just giving you a lot more for the price. The Porsche is giving you the uniqueness of the brand, and you're rarely going to see these type of SUVs with these type of wheels under this color. It's a very unique color, but you're going to pay the piper for that. Has fog lights, LED lights, and then it has your, I think those are adaptive Xeon headlights. The Porsche badge, which everybody knows, they're very traditionalist. They've kept that, which is another thing which, you know, Porsche continues to be traditional on a lot of things. You know, they still have like a, where is it at? I can't find it, but look at this. These guys still have an old school CD player. Most modern cars just don't have that because, again, they have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and you can play Pandora or Spotify. And so a lot of vehicles are moving away from that for that same reason. Again, this is the shape of the steering wheel. I think it's a fantastic looking steering wheel. The grips on the 10 and 9s are great. All the gears are very simplistic. I don't think they're as elaborate as the X5. The X5 gives you a complete digital cockpit. This is, I think, a 7.2 or 8-inch screen. And again, I keep on mentioning the X5, and the reason why is they're kind of competitors to each other from what you're getting. Some people might say it's not. Okay, I get it. But I think even the X3, which is a smaller size than the BMW, it's the smaller BMW, still is going to give you way more bang for the buck. But again, I go back, you can't be looking at bang for the buck on Porsches, right? You're going after a brand, a name recognition. The transmission and engine is fantastic, but I think it's taking away a lot from the vehicle in regards to all the features. So again, use your money wisely, and I do believe you can get one for about $55,000, $56,000, pretty much loaded to the gills, and it would still drive great and look great. It does have a power lift gate. Let me see if you guys can see some of the room in here. Let me see if I can get it open somehow. Well, I guess it doesn't. The key, let me see if I can get the key real quick. Key's pretty cool. Shaped like a car, so it's not push start. You actually have to put the key in the ignition on the left side and turn it. Press this. It does open pretty wide. One thing I did notice that's different than this in the X5, again, is if you have a short wife, it's going to be very hard for them to reach. They actually have to like step on their toes, right? Tippy toe upward to reach this. Compared to the X5, you can actually move it where you want it and then press it and it'll adjust. Believe it or not, for the size of the vehicle, I think it has actually fairly good cargo room. It's actually pretty big. It's hard to see. All the seats in the back, they all fold back down. So again, pretty cool here. It's like a threshold, and it is metal. All the fit and finish on the car is fantastic, by the way. Very, very, very good fit and finish. Everything feels quality made. They do have an option where you can get leather stitching, again on the X5 for the price I mentioned earlier, or the X3. All that is leather, real leather stitching all along the door panels, not in this one. It does have power touch mirrors, one touch for all fours. It does have your simple exhaust instead of your quad. Typically on your sports edition, your turbo or your S is going to come with quad exhaust. This has a single exhaust. And that's pretty much it, guys. It does have the power windows. It doesn't even have memory seats, which again is shocking to me. And you can see the adjustability is not that great. The X5 allows you to even adjust the bolsters, the height, the length. It also has, as you guys know, the extension here for your thigh support on the X5. So again, I know I'm talking about two totally different vehicles, and I think this Porsche fits a specific demographic, hence why they sell it. And I think the car does very well for them. It's a very popular car for them. I think if you're going to be looking into one of these cars, I think what you would want to do is move away from this type of paint, move away from these wheels, and invest all that extra capital into the amenities the car can get you. So then it's going to come with a lot of the state-of-the-art technology that most vehicles or new vehicles today come with, right? And you just the problem that I'm struggling with, if you're going to spend again $64,000, which we already agreed we're not, but that's the sticker on this car, is you can just get so much more for that price. And I think that's where it makes it a little bit, difficult for Porsche to sell a spec with these type of paint jobs and these type of wheels. Hence why the car's been sitting since 2018, in July, and hasn't sold to this day. Because what people are doing is they're going to Porsche, buying a Porsche Macan, right, without those wheels and without that paint, and getting the full plethora of amenities that Porsche offers, which most cars offer that standard nowadays. So this is my quick review on the Porsche Macan 2018. I think on the 2019, they did do some additional upgrades to the vehicle on the inside. I think they added leather. The touchscreen is bigger, comes standard with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So they did a couple of things to make it a little bit nicer on the inside, and I believe that the car's already nice. Just to sweeten up the deal for that consumer that's looking for a newer model than 2018. However, if you are in the market for a Porsche Macan, it would be smart of you to shop around at your local Porsche dealerships for 2018 models. Don't worry about the 2019, unless you just want the latest and greatest. But the car really hasn't changed much, and they're knocking $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 off these cars. So what does that mean? That means you can get a spec that's probably 55 with all the bells and whistles. Again, removing the paint and the wheels. And if they're knocking those down by 10K, you could probably get a spec for about 45K, a Porsche Macan with all the bells and whistles, everything that you would imagine from a technology perspective that would come in that vehicle. So the better choice would be is, again, if you don't care about the newer, bigger screen or a little bit of minor changes in the interior, this is the time to buy a 2018. And we're in 2019, guys. We're in July of 2019. This car is already over a year old. It's never been owned by anybody, right? So I wanted to share my opinion on what I think. I think the car is fantastic. I think it's catered to a specific type of buyer. And again, if you spend your mind wisely, you can get something very nice. It's a really good car. It drives great. I'm not going to take that. The transmission is fantastic. I just believe that you wait and you sit till they have them with massive discounts, or go out and buy yourself a 2019 BMW X5 for about 53, 54 with everything, right? So I know it's not apples to apples, but I can almost guarantee you if I would test drive a BMW X3, for the same price range of this, I'm gonna get probably a fully loaded with everything on it, which again, I think you can still get it with this as well. It just depends on the spec you buy. I appreciate you guys viewing. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you like it or you don't like. What do you guys think about the Porsche Macan? If you're in the market, I hope this helped you guys a little bit. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. All right, guys, peace out.